If you're in a stage in your life where you feel like you've been repeating again and again the same cycles, and you've been going through again and again the same circumstances, and you're trying so much to get yourself out of that, and you're trying so hard to move forward, and you feel so ready to get out of this situation, you feel like you are so done experiencing this sameness and this loop that you're in again and again, and you don't know what to do to make sure that you take yourself out of this stage and out of this phase in your life and take you to the next phase in your life, and you feel like things finally stop keeping you trapped where you are, then this video is for you. I wanted to make this video for the people that feel stuck and for the people that feel they have gotten disappointed because they are in a situation where they have experienced before, a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, and where you feel like, I'm not gonna do this again, I'm not gonna put myself through the same thing, through the same circumstances, I don't want that same outcome and that same result. And even though you said that and you truly wished that for yourself and you truly desired so much change, that change didn't follow up and it didn't come through, because even though you desired it, you didn't do what it was required for you to move out of that loop, to close that chapter and to move to the next. And you're probably wondering, okay, what is that thing that I haven't done that keeps me stuck experiencing that same situation, but with different circumstances this time, with different people this time, with different environment this time? What is the reason that I'm still having the same outcome, but just now dressed in a different way? The reason why you're stuck is because you haven't learned the lesson that you were supposed to learn from that situation, from that chapter, in order to move to the next one. So most of our life experiences are here to work for us as lessons, as teachers, and as guidance on what we do want. And this is what I've discussed about on my recent video on how to get specific, because life is teaching us what we want through these experiences instead. And yes, you have learned what you wanted. You went through the challenge and you have refined your desire. You have refined what you want instead. But what you haven't done is to learn the lesson that you refuse to teach yourself. So I want to read you a small sentence from the Manual of the Warrior of Light from Paulo Coelho, who is the author of The Alchemist. And he says that the Warrior of Light knows that certain moments repeat themselves. He often finds himself faced by the same problems and same situations. Seeing these difficult situations return, he grows depressed, thinking that he is incapable of making any progress in life. I've been through all this before, he says to his heart. Yes, you have been through all this before, replies his heart, but you have never been beyond it. Then the warrior realizes that these repeated experiences have but one aim: to teach him what he does not want to learn. So the reason why we face the same experiences again and again is because of the lesson that we refuse to learn. There is a big conclusion, there is a big lesson that comes from that experience. And unfortunately, we're gonna still keep facing it and still being in the same loop until we decide to finally learn that lesson. And sometimes we're like, but I don't know what that lesson is. I don't understand. It's not because you don't understand, it's because you don't want to see it. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to understand it. You don't want to put awareness into that lesson. You refuse it because it's so hard for your mind to accept it. So let me give you an example. I have decided when I was around 16, 17 to pursue a career that I thought I had some interest in, but it came really from a place of making other people happy, making society happy, making a choice that will be acceptable by society and that will therefore make me also acceptable. So I went to study law for 3 years. I chased that that career. And for those 3 years, I faced so much resistance. And going from being an A student to being a student that barely passes my exams. And I refused to learn and sit with myself and learn the lesson. Why am I having so much resistance in this degree? Why are there so many people around me that are there and they're thriving because they seem so excited to learn, because they seem so right to be here? I just refused to see what was right in front of me, and I just kept pushing myself because I wanted to stay in that university. I wanted to keep the life that was around me the same, and that meant in order to do that, to keep my life, to keep my friends, I had to keep that same choice, which in its core I knew it didn't sit right with me anymore. And after 3 years, I just knew that law wasn't for me, but I was just doing it because I thought it was failure to drop that degree. I came out of that degree, and after being able to pass it, I went back to my home country, and since it was COVID and I didn't see that I had many options, I decided to do the next logical step in this process. Again, not reflecting on what I wanted, but just going again with the same motive of I need to do what is societally, what is accepted. And I went through my law internship to be a trainee in order to pass the bar exams. So in order to pass the bar exams, you need to be 1 year a legal trainee, and at the end of that year to take exams, your legal exams, to pass the bar exam. Also that 1 year, I faced so much resistance, so much fighting with my desires, and seeing more than ever that this is not where I want to be, and that if I continue down this line, I will just be miserable. I pushed myself more and more, and at the end of it, the day before I went to pass the exams, I was crying to myself, and I was telling myself, why do I put myself through this if I know I'm never going to use this law degree again in my life? Why do I do this to myself? Why do I see this as such a big failure to not go and put my energy on something that is not important for me? My soul literally cried out for me and wanted me to see, and from all that traumatic experience, what I've learned is that I just don't want to pursue law, right? And for me, instead of finally embracing this and be like, okay, so I decided I want to change direction. I want to completely change my direction. I want to do something that I like and that I enjoy. And instead of using that opportunity I had in front of me with the choice to move forward on a clean slate, on a new chapter, and finally allowing my heart to be heard and my desires to be heard, instead, what I did is I tried to listen to my heart, but still listen to societal expectations, to do something else, but still something that is respected, still something that it will make sense by society standards. And I decided to go and pursue a degree, my master's degree, business economics and management. And I knew while I was doing it that there was a voice inside of me like telling me, how many times do you want to keep trying, knocking on doors that will never answer, trying things that you know are not what you're meant to be doing, trying things that you know are never going to make you happy because you are still inhabiting yourself, you're still holding yourself back, doing choices that you think are right but are not right by you. And I felt again like I was just putting myself again in a new cycle of trying to fit in while just now trying to listen more of my heart. And I knew that I was doing it, that this was not right, but I felt like I had no other option but to do that. And I went again for the next 2 years pursuing my master's, and the resistance was 10 times worse than it was ever before. The resistance was even bigger, like I was facing a wall, and I really don't know how I managed to pass these exams. Like, it was so out of alignment with who I am, and I am a person that has different skills and different like strengths, and I refuse still to allow this to be a failure. So I forced myself again to develop skills on something that is not for me, something that I have no interest in, but I just felt that I had to push through. Against forcing myself to be in the box and to spend energy and spend time on something that it wasn't meant for me. And that cycle kept coming again and again. And it lasted so many years, since I was 17 until I think, well, now that I'm 25. So it's been 8 years of that same lesson trying to sink in and trying to finally be heard and to be understood by myself. So for so long, I just felt not ready to accept it, not ready to be okay that this is what I meant to learn. Because having that other choice, going after careers that seemed good on paper, was what was comfortable for me. It was what my mind truly wanted me to be. A person that could be happy pursuing a career that was great by societal standards, pursuing a law degree, doing my master's in business. On paper, I did everything that I thought it was right, but still my soul and my heart wasn't happy. I felt trapped, and the more I tried, the more miserable I was, because I realized that there was no hope anymore. I was just deluding myself. I realized that no matter how hard I tried to fake this, I knew that it will never give me the results that I wanted. And even though I tried to push myself through internships, push myself through jobs that weren't meant for me and they weren't right for me, this only made me more miserable. This last September, I had the choice to go through this cycle again and to either accept a new position that will be in line with everything that I've achieved before and be like so miserable. Like the resistance at this job for the first 1 week that I was there, it was immense. Time stopped going by, and I felt that I was trapped as a prisoner somewhere where I literally didn't even have enough work to distract me. Like if you are given like work in that first week, you're able to distract yourself and you're able to be like, okay, I'm doing something. But everything conspired to just push me in such corner to see everything and feel everything in such magnitude to literally realize that you need to get yourself out of this. You need to learn the lesson. You need to finally close this chapter. And for that week, I came back home and I was battling with myself so hard, back and forth, to either stay or give up. In my mind, giving up meant failure because I wasn't able to complete something, and therefore it just wasn't aligned with who I am as a person. I'm so persistent and stubborn. If I commit to something, I'm stubborn of getting it through. And it was fighting everything inside of me to just let my soul be heard and let that lesson finally be seen and take place in my life. And I did it because I was no longer in a position to do anything but be miserable, completely miserable if I didn't. And I think if my situations weren't so harsh with me and they weren't so hard with me, I would have never opened my eyes to see and try to reflect and try to understand why this is happening to me. And through that reflection, I was able to open my eyes and see this is not working. And no matter how hard you try to fool yourself, no matter how hard you try, you will never succeed in making yourself happy. You will never succeed if you don't try your way, if you don't try to listen to your heart, to listen to your soul and try it their way. No matter how risky, no matter how crazy, no matter how mad it is. I've had people around me thinking that this was a crazy idea, but I didn't want to live the life that they lived. I always wanted to follow my own path, and by starting my self-improvement journey, I was able to be aware with myself more than ever that when something didn't feel right, it came from an inner guidance that was so strong and that was always right before. And so that was the story of me learning my lesson. That was the story of learning my biggest lesson until now that I didn't want to face and I didn't want to see. The lesson of allowing yourself to be and to become who you are, no matter how not right it is by societal standards. What's important is for you to pursue a path in life that is right for you. And when you're young, you're immature and you're naive, and you think that, who am I to be out there and be free and to be myself and to be authentic? There's so many people that in order to have money, they force themselves to be 9 to 5. Why am I different? And I was just lucky enough and guided enough that God helped me through different situations and different circumstances to take that leap of faith in myself. And I still don't know if there is going to be a happy ending, but until now I can tell you that I've never been happier with what I am doing and with what I'm putting my time and energy on, with what skills I put my energy and my focus on growing. And until now there wasn't a moment where I regretted it, but I still see that there is still stuff for me to learn, and there's still lessons for me to learn until I am able to reach my destination. And that's okay, because that's life. It's just a continuation of lessons. I hope this served as your reminder to learn your lesson, to open your eyes around you to whatever you're going through, and ask yourself, what is the lesson that I'm being taught that I don't want to see? What is the lesson that I don't want to teach myself? What is the lesson that I have so much difficulty seeing? And I promise you that the answer is going to come. And what you need to do is to see it and accept it, and to go and make that answer your new reality, to embrace it. And no matter how hard it is to give up your old self and your old ways, I promise you, you'll never have new results if you're putting in the same input again and again. New input, new results. Old input, same old results. So I beg of you to let go of whatever is not serving you anymore, even though it served you in the past, and to try and allow that lesson to happen, because I promise you it's the only thing that is going to take you out of that loop and that cycle, is going to finally give you what you truly want. And a key example I want to use here is Carrie Bradshaw from Sex and the City, where her biggest lesson that she had to go through was setting her boundaries in her relationship with Mr. Big. And she didn't love herself. She didn't stand up for herself. She let him walk all over her. And things kept happening, and he kept disappointing her because she didn't learn her lesson. Until the day where one of the last times that Big came and claimed her on one of the last episodes of the 6th season, and he came to claim her, and she finally put her foot down. She finally set her boundaries that you can't walk all over me. And that was her lesson. And because she chose to act differently this time, she got out of that cycle. She got out of that old chapter, and she was able to start a new one. And sometimes it's as simple as that, but it's not as easy. Sometimes it's so simple, but so hard to do. I hope you're brave, and I hope you're able to let go of whatever is not serving you, and to let in the thing that is so hard, but I'm sure is going to take you where you want to go. Good luck with that, and thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.